Aisling Sturbridge made a name for herself as she served as the regent of the New York City Chantry of the Five Boroughs during intense conflicts with the Sabbat, leading up to the Camarilla's routing of their forces in 1999 and the sect reclaiming the majority of the city for themselves. Although Aisling had only served as regent for 3 years leading up to the Battle of New York, her talents were perfectly suited to counter the Tzimitzi threatening the safety of her chantry. Aisling was born in 1890 in upstate New York, and while she was the child of a banker, she exhibited little of the poise and elegance you would come to expect of her bearings. Her mother died when she was 2, and although her father remarried, he preferred to let his daughter do as she wanted, resulting in a tomboyish girl who would much rather play with her brothers than do the chores and lessons her father's wife demanded of her. As she was often free to do as she pleased, Aisling found herself drawn to studying mysticism in all its forms. Having grown to appreciate the seemingly esoteric rituals of the Catholic Church, she wanted to expand her understanding of it, going so far as to teach herself Greek and Latin in order to read even older books that her brother borrowed for her from the church library. She began correspondence with several occultists, discussing what she had found, and soon enough she had earned herself an invitation to join one of the more exclusive societies. Naturally, this sort of behavior would not be tolerated from a young woman of her bearings, and her mother's family demanded she return to her studies and cease this nonsense. Aisling's response was to take what she could from her trust fund and leave for London, where she would continue to pursue her own studies. While there, she caught the attention of the Tremere, Lucien de Maupassant, as well as the occultist Aleister Crowley. Crowley, angry that a woman many years his junior was outperforming him, wanted to take her on as his new Scarlet Woman, a symbolic role in his cult to represent the whore of Babylon, and whom he would be allowed to rape and abuse at his pleasure, as he wore the title of Great Beast. Lucien would have nothing of it, and he brought Aisling with him on a long journey through Europe and the Middle East, tutoring and testing her to see if she was fit to join the Tremere. To no surprise, she performed beyond expectations, and after being made a kindred, she and Lucien continued their journeys, serving as agents and emissaries traveling between chantries, supporting them, and investigating whatever the inner council demanded of them. Aisling proved to be a double-edged sword to the council, as she questioned the Tremere's involvement with the Nazi regime, yet was also one of the best in preserving and saving artifacts and treasures from air raids and looting. Yet when her sire mysteriously disappeared in 1948, Aisling was subtly influenced to turn her attention to America instead. She conducted extensive research on both the Age of Aquarius and the McCarthy hearings, circling in the birth of the New Age movement and becoming the utmost authority on it. She served for some time in Atlanta as an assistant to the local regent before she was abruptly called to replace the now dead regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs. Having proved her mettle during World War II, Aisling was known to be able to handle the heat of the conflict, and she was just old enough to earn the respect of her subordinates, yet also young enough to be dispensable to the council. Aisling was also known to not hate the Sabbat indiscriminately, but rather because of certain actions they would take that she found despicable. This nuanced distrust helped her keep a cool head and work out situations to her advantage that to a more hardline Tremere might have been impossible. Unlike many of her fellow warlocks, Aisling had no problem making allies outside of the clan in order to get the job done, or to secure the safety of her and her chantry. This has served her well during her time in New York, and has also made her quite popular, both inside the clan and outside. She is a close friend with Beckett, the gangrel Nodist scholar, and she worked closely together with Calabros, Michaela, and Helena in rooting out the Sabbat during the war. Aisling was in a position to take the role of prince once the city was in the hands of the Ivory Tower once more, yet she denied it, a decision that has troubled her superiors greatly. She is considered unreliable, as her interests seem to stray too far outside the usual Tremere desire to climb in ranks. Aisling is also known to value skills outside of the occult, often showing genuine appreciation for those who display them. She is also fair, treating others like she expects to be treated back, and while she certainly does not reveal the secrets of her clan to anyone, she nonetheless displays little of the arrogance and crypticness that is so often the case with the warlocks. Aisling's reputation as an investigator has her often consulting and aiding fellow Tremere and other allies around the world in analyzing purportedly magical artifacts, verifying authenticity of records of events, and otherwise sieving through lies to find the kernel of truth. Such reputable names as Hesha, Isabel Giovanni, Beckett, Anatole, and Rosita are all known associates of her, and it is rumored that she has also had the occasional interaction with Tali of the La Sombra and Vikos of the Tzimitzi, although the nature of their relationships is much less clear. Aisling rarely displays the femininity of her features, finding it an unnecessary distraction to her work. She prefers to wear suits and comfortable clothes, and is known to have adopted a more Agent Scully-esque look after the encouragement from some of her apprentices. During the battle for New York, and the events leading up to it, she would often wear a Kevlar vest over or under her clothes, and she consistently gloves her hands. On her left ring finger, beneath the glove, she wears an antique gold band engraved with the word faith. After the destruction of Vienna, it is not certain which direction Aisling would choose to take her chantry, although recent events do seem to indicate that she is inclining towards remaining with House Tremere and not leaving for the Anarch movement like House Ipsissimus. It seems unlikely that she would side with Karna, the former regent of Milwaukee, considering the events involving Beckett and the Book of the Grave War, despite the fact that it would seem that Karna learned how to break the blood bond of the Tremere with it. Aisling Sturbridge's success is not so much because of her arcane talents, although they are impressive, but rather that she has the capability of interacting with others outside of her clan. She is pragmatic, which is a rare trait in a warlock, and hopefully one that will ensure her continued survival.